Recently, an interview with MGM Resorts CEO Bill Hornbuckle on CNBC stirred up quite a storm among us old-timers who've been rolling the dice in Las Vegas for years. To outsiders, it might just seem like another corporate exec spouting PR platitudes. But to those of us who've witnessed the city's ups and downs with our own hard-earned cash, every word he said, every pause, even the moments when the host conveniently cut him off, felt like a poker game where the cards were being flipped one by one, revealing the raw, unflattering truth about what today's casino operators really think. Let's break down his words like we're replaying a hand, frame by frame, to see how this big-time dealer tried to bluff the players at the table and the investors watching the numbers from afar with his slick talk. Right out of the gate, facing the investors' cameras, he put on a confident front, declaring with conviction, "Las Vegas is not in decline." The statement came out strong, but the evidence propping it up was flimsier than a sheet of printer paper. He pointed to the past long weekend, boasting that his 9 hotels hit an occupancy rate of over 98%. Who was that line for? It was for the Wall Street suits sitting in their offices, poring over spreadsheets and growth charts. To those of us who know the real pulse of Vegas, it's laughable. The Labor Day weekend is one of the peak traffic periods every year, a guaranteed highlight on the city's calendar. 98% occupancy, even 100% wouldn't mean much. It's like a gambler who's been losing all night, finally hitting a big win at dawn and running out of the casino shouting, "I broke even." Does that prove anything? You don't judge a city's vitality by its best days. You look at how it holds up on the quiet ones. Go check out a random Tuesday afternoon or a typical Wednesday night, when you can hear the echo of your own footsteps on the carpet of any strip casino, when rows of slot machines flicker with lonely lights and no one's playing, when even the slot machine grannies get bored and head back to their rooms early. That's when you feel the city's true temperature. The air no longer carries that thrilling mix of cigar smoke, perfume, and adrenaline. Instead, it's a faint, sterile chill from overworked air conditioning. You don't hear the heart-pounding jingle of jackpot bells anymore, just the monotonous hum of slots in standby mode. Hornbuckle's trying to sell us a snapshot of holiday fireworks to prove the sun never sets. It's a cheap trick. He's not unaware of the glaring numbers. He just chooses to ignore them. As of June this year, visitor numbers dropped by over 7% compared to last year. That's not some made-up figure. It's straight from the Nevada Gaming Control Board's official stats, and his breezy mention of 11 or 12% drops in June and July glosses over the downward trend that's been going since the start of the year. February's decline was nearly as bad as those summer months. He knows better than anyone that the problem started long ago, and the root cause lies with them, with the short-sighted, profit-chasing strategies they've cooked up. But he plays dumb, sidestepping the real issues, using a meaningless weekend stat to paper over a year of dismal reality. In poker terms, this is a classic bluff, holding a weak hand but betting big to scare off the table. Too bad for him. He's facing a crowd of seasoned players who can spot his tells from a mile away. The highlight of the interview, the moment that laid it all bare, was when the reporter zeroed in on his sore spot, the $12 Starbucks coffee at Excalibur. The question was sharp. "I checked, and last time you were on our show, a room at Excalibur was going for $45 a night. Now, in a budget casino where you can stay for $45, you're charging $12 for a coffee. Isn't that a bit?" Before she could finish, Hornbuckle's face froze, his words stumbled, and his lips twitched like he was about to let slip a word starting with G. What word? In English, it's greedy. For a split second, he was on the verge of admitting on national TV that their strategy over the past 2 years has been driven by pure, unfiltered greed. But then, in a dramatic twist, the seasoned co-host swooped in like a trained bodyguard, cutting him off with lightning speed and steering the conversation elsewhere. In a courtroom, that move would be called leading the witness and shut down by the judge. But on the TV stage, it was a flawless rescue. She saved him, saved MGM stock price, but let the truth slip through our fingers. We were this close to getting the smoking gun, a casino empire's boss admitting their insatiable greed. Greed in a casino feels almost natural. It's a business built on exploiting human desire, and we've known that since the day we stepped foot in here. But the old Las Vegas operated on a delicate balance, an unwritten contract. The deal was simple. They'd take your money, but in return, you'd get an unmatched, dreamlike experience. Cheap rooms, lavish buffets, free drinks flowing everywhere, and most importantly, a relatively fair gaming environment where opportunity felt real. That's what made you willingly open your wallet. It was a symbiotic relationship. You came to spend, to feel like a king, and the casinos raked in profits from high traffic and table rake. You might lose, but you enjoyed the ride, and it felt worth it. That contract wasn't just between players and casinos. It was woven into the entire Vegas ecosystem. I remember the dealers back in the day, legends of the city. They knew your name, your drink of choice, and could lighten the mood with a quip when your luck was down. They weren't just running the game. They were crafting the experience. And those cocktail waitresses weaving through the slot machine jungle. Their smiles and a free whiskey were your brief respite in the battle. It all created an atmosphere where, yeah, you were here to lose, but you felt respected, welcomed. Now, dealers are pushed to deal and collect at breakneck speed like robots on an assembly line. Any extra chatter is a hit to efficiency. Cocktail service is sparse and slow, practically daring you to shell out at the bar. The human touch of the casino has been replaced by cold terms like operational efficiency and cost control. That contract has been torn up one-sidedly. They're no longer content with the fair profits from gaming. They've extended their greedy tentacles into every corner of your existence in this city. Parking fees, unthinkable before. Resort fees, slapped on with no shame, are now an unavoidable tumor on your bill. A simple beer costs as much as a drink at a high-end restaurant. They don't want you to have fun anymore. They want you paying for the privilege of breathing their air from the moment you step into the hotel. This constant transaction friction has killed the very magic that Vegas was built on. That escape from reality, lose yourself in the moment vibe. So we get to Hornbuckle's next big pitch in the interview. He claims you can still get a room at Excalibur for $85. Resort fees included, play a $5 table, sip a $5 beer, and enjoy a 3-course meal for under $33 a head. He rattled off those numbers with such conviction, you'd think he personally tested it yesterday. But anyone who's been to Vegas in the last 2 years would laugh out loud. This sounds more like a nostalgic ode to Vegas a decade ago, not a description of today. $5 beers? A $33 3-course meal? Where? In Excalibur's food court. A basic cheese pizza slice costs $12.99, and a soda runs you $7. Forget a 3-course meal. You'd be lucky to afford a decent fast food combo for $33. His talk of value is a distant myth, a marketing buzzword to soothe investors and lure naive tourists. The Vegas he's describing might exist in some parallel universe, but not on the ground we're walking. Excalibur's rooms might technically start at $30 or $40 on a weekday, but tack on the resort fees and taxes, and you're paying double. This is his so-called return to value? No, it's just a reluctant, half-hearted discount act after they jacked up prices so high no one was biting. The most egregious betrayal, though, is at the tables, the ultimate slap in the face to us core customers. Old Vegas was full of traps, sure, but the tables at least held a shred of respect for tradition and rules. Now, to squeeze every last cent out of players, they've gone all in. The industry standard 3:2 Blackjack payout, nearly extinct on the strip, replaced by 6:5 odds that massively tilt the house's favor. To casual tourists who don't crunch numbers, it's just a small change. To us veterans, it's outright robbery, a desecration of the game's spirit. And don't get me started on the 000 roulette, adding a 000 to the single and 00 wheels, doubling the house edge overnight. The deeper shift is in technology. Modern slot machines have payout rates that can be tweaked remotely in real time. Your player card isn't just for racking up points anymore. It's a probe into your behavior. They know your betting patterns, your loss limits, what bonuses will keep you playing after a losing streak. This isn't a game of chance anymore. It's an uneven war between you and a team of data scientists and psychologists. The game isn't fair, and they don't even bother pretending it is. They don't want you to have fun or play for long. They want your wallet emptied fast so the next sucker can take your spot. So, where's their confidence coming from if they're treating regular tourists and gamblers like this? Hornbuckle let it slip later in the interview. He talked about diversifying their business, their high-end properties, their Macau operations, their digital entertainment ventures. The subtext was clear. Regular Vegas gamblers are no longer their priority. They need to be more sensitive to value-seeking customers, but it feels like lip service, a patronizing pat on the head. Their real profit growth comes from high rollers, massive sports events, concerts, and the much bigger Macau market. So when Vegas visitor numbers drop, he can stay calm because, in his global strategy, it's just a minor loss. He's focused on the company's balance sheet, not whether you or I can still find an affordable beer. The F1 Grand Prix from a while back is a perfect example of this shift. To host this rich man's sport, they turned the strip upside down. They cut down the iconic century-old trees in front of Bellagio, caused months of traffic chaos, and blocked scenic views with ugly barriers, sacrificing the experience of regular tourists and locals to the extreme. It's a tale of two Vegases. One, a gilded cage for the ultra-wealthy with private jets and sky-high suites. The other, a chaotic construction zone for the rest of us, hemmed in by roadblocks, high prices, and awful experiences. That's the new Vegas philosophy. Screw over thousands of small fish to cater to a handful of whales. They're chasing the trendy experience economy, but their experiences aren't about the raw thrill and dreams of gambling anymore. They're about watching an overpriced race or attending a glitzy party. Gambling, the foundation of this city, has been demoted to an afterthought. In the second half of the interview, Hornbuckle dropped a jaw-dropping bombshell. As chair of the U.S. Travel Association, he had the gall to complain about cuts to tourism marketing budgets and suggested going back to Capitol Hill to lobby for more funding. Couldn't believe my ears. A guy running a multi-billion-dollar empire, posting record revenues every quarter, thinks the first fix for his self-inflicted visitor drop is to have American taxpayers foot the bill for his private company's ads to cover his business blunders. The arrogance, the shamelessness. This profits are mine. Losses are the government's mindset lays, bear the greed and hypocrisy of corporate America. They revel in capitalist profits but run to socialist solutions the moment things go south. He also threw out a classic smokescreen, blaming international visitor declines on visa fees. Never mind that the major source countries he mentioned, Canada, the UK, Germany, Japan, and over 40 others, are part of the US visa waiver program, so his visa fee excuse doesn't even apply. Would a family planning a transatlantic or transpacific trip, ready to drop thousands on a Vegas vacation, really balk at $100 in fees? What's actually driving them away is arriving here and finding everything outrageously overpriced, with value so low it's insulting. They're voting with their feet not because they can't come, but because they feel like fools getting fleeced at every turn. A collapsing reputation hurts far more than any marketing budget cuts. What hit me hardest was his dismissive tone toward Canadian visitors. He said they make up 40% of the US tourism market, but only 3% of MGM's business. The subtext? Canadians, we don't care if you show up or not. Canadian tourists, especially from the western provinces, have long been Vegas regulars and loyal fans. Many are savvy gamblers, deeply tied to this city's culture. To brush them off with a who cares is not just business short-sightedness. It's a gut punch to a decades-long bond. So, back to the big question, is Las Vegas really in decline? Physically, it's still dazzling, lights blazing, skyscrapers towering, grander than ever. But in its soul, yes, it's falling faster than ever before. It's morphing from a mirage that spun dreams for the masses into a decadent playground for the elite few. Hornbuckle's entire interview, despite his best efforts to hide it, betrayed this shift at every turn. He acknowledged double-digit visitor drops but pinned the blame on everything else. Economic conditions, government policies, traveler preferences. Anything but the real culprit. Their own bloated, insatiable greed. They've shattered the social contract that held strong for decades, driven away their most loyal devotees. Now, as the casinos grow emptier, he wants someone else to pay for his mistakes. That's the tragedy of today's Las Vegas. It's still there, shining like a giant diamond in the desert. But for us old-timers, its glow no longer warms. It's no longer a place where you can take $100 and a bit of luck to defy fate. It's a finely tuned ATM, and you're the card with a cracked pin. The bitter irony is that in their mad race for higher profit margins, they've killed the golden goose, the unique Vegas magic that kept countless ordinary folks coming back to this desert time and time again, chasing a dream.